I think there's,
Yeah.
back to 2017, 18, there's only like 3,000, 5,000 tokens in the market. But now, thanks for Pump of Fun and all these, we got like a 30 million token, a couple of thousand token like every day, right? So I think we need to really, really focus design on the product, the token as a product, like telling people why they need it and how this could be valuable and useful.
Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of the Solfate Podcast,
GM.
where we have conversations with founders and developers in the Solana ecosystem. We had a great one today. We talked with Edison, the CEO of Cudis. They make a wellness ring that tracks your health and fitness data, and have a cool solution for, gatekeeping that information on the chain, so you own your data. And a cool incentive program to incentivize you to track your data.
Yeah. It was a really great conversation with Edison. Like I've seen a lot of people using these wellness rings, wellness trackers. Like I use a Garmin smartwatch. A lot of people use like Apple Watches and all of their fitness tracking stuff. They always feel kind of clunky, and like you definitely don't own your own data. You don't have any control over who gets access to your data. It's just whatever that company decides to do with it, you agreed to the terms of service. Cudis takes a different approach, which is great. It's very a Web3 eco, sort of in like a DePIN sort of way, which I think is really, really cool. And I'm sold. I'm getting one of these rings. It's not even like I need this.
Yeah, I'm excited to try it out. I've never actually used like a ring fitness tracker before. I've got an Apple Watch and sort of track steps and various workout data and things. But I'm excited for the sort of slimmer profile of a ring. That'll be fun. And Cudis was kind enough to give us a referral code that you all can use for $60 off the ring. So go to cudis.xyz, that's cudis.xyz, and at checkout, enter the code Solfate with a capital S. So it is case sensitive. Make sure you capitalize the S, but use Solfate for $60 off and
you get some bonus
500
points too.
Additional reward points to kind of kickstart that incentive program for yourself. Before we dive into the show, I want to do a shameless plug, as always, for Unboxed. If you need any dev work, we do a lot of sort of 0 to 1 MVP work for early stage founders who are trying to prototype, build out new concepts. So if that sounds like you, hit me up on Twitter or, reach out to me here, on our website, and I'll help you out.
All right, let's go ahead and dive in.
Nothing in this podcast is or should be considered financial advice. Any opinions and thoughts expressed are solely those of the individual. They do not represent the opinions of any entity. Enjoy.
Great to meet you, Edison. I've been excited to have this conversation. I'm sorry we weren't able to do it last week. I'm sorry about the mix up then.
It's all good. Yeah.
Is it middle of the night for you right now?
Actually, it's all right. Because I'm now in the Dubai, so it's kind of like 9 p.m. But still a little bit jet lag because it's like 1 a.m. in Singapore. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Dang. So Singapore's home base for you?
Yeah. So I moved to Singapore last year from Los Angeles. So basically, half time in Singapore, half time in the States. Yeah.
Cool. And is there a conference in Dubai right now? Are you in Dubai for a crypto thing?
Token. Yeah. Now it's the token 2049 Dubai. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't realize token is going on right now.
Okay, then that's their, they didn't do their job, I think.
I've been also largely off like social media and everything for the last couple of weeks. I was traveling in Paris for Paris Blockchain Week and then took a week off.
That's great. Yeah. We were there. Yeah. So
nice.
My co-founder Lizzie was there, and we were running a small side events together with Solana Foundation. Yeah.
Let's see. As far as intros, I'm James. I've been rolling in the Solana ecosystem for the last 4 years. Got my start in crypto, dabbling with NFTs and doing client work for clients who just happen to want to do some crypto stuff in the EVM space. And then somewhere along the way, I drank the Kool-Aid, and here I am on Solana. And I don't know that I'd say I'll never go anywhere else, but probably not, because why?
Yeah, here's a cool place to stay, right?
No, Solana's home. Yeah, I'll go ahead and introduce myself as well. So I'm Nick. We've been doing this podcast here for like 2.5, almost 3 years now.
Wow.
I'm actually full time at the Solana Foundation right now, so I'm on the developer relations team, and that's why I was in Paris. I was both speaking on stage, and I ran the Paris Blockchain Week hackathon for the 3 days before the main event. And before that, I was active duty military in the U.S. for about 10 years, operating nuclear reactors and submarines. And then I've been full time at Foundation for about 2.5 years now, and then part time a couple of months before that. And yeah, Solana's home, so I'm not planning on going anywhere.
Yes, sir. Yeah, totally agree. So I joined the space since 2016. After I built my first company and sold it, and then just deep dive into the crypto. Since a lot of my friends was engineering in the Silicon Valley, and they shared me with the white paper of the Bitcoin, and then totally obsessed with it, and then start deploy the money into the crypto, and also do a lot of the early investment in the space since 2017, and also starting from a lot of the layer one projects, like Phantom, Anchor, Solana, and then a lot of the application like Exchange or these, and start building the Cudis since 2023. After I leave my job in the venture capital, was help them manage like $200 million fund, mainly focused on the crypto, consumer tech, and the brand business. So you can see Cudis is a little bit like connecting the dots of my previous career path. And we launched our first product 2024, and second product December last year as well. And that's how we get it here, starting all the way from the Hacker House and Renaissance Hackathon back to the April last year. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's great.
Let's actually just dig right into Cudis, right? I'm super interested to hear. There's actually a bunch of different topics I kind of want to talk about. We might not have time to cover all of them, so maybe we'll just start with what I think is one of the more important questions. Why Web3 for wellness? Why do those things mesh? Why does it make sense to have, a wearable health tracker that's also integrated with blockchain technology?
100%. So before we build Cudis, there's actually conversation goes on. I'm really into the wearable and wellness. I'm personal doing the, I would say early biohacking, like very intro level since 2018. So start drinking more instead of eating more. So I'm pretty getting, like doing that way, because I got a couple of friends that are doing that already for a lot of years, and I was investing in one of the super supplement company, and the founder, kind of like a mentor me in that way, and there's conversation goes on with another friend of mine, so. We are both Aura users at the moment, and we just take a coffee, and we were chit chat on what if that we don't pay the Aura subscription, right? And they instead of they pay us, that's our data, right? If we can own the money, through the Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, stablecoin, so these, why not we can own our health data, right? Because at the moment that AI already pretty hype in the Silicon Valley, and a lot of my friends and alumni in UCLA built around AI, and also in Berkeley, and so I was thinking, what matters in the future, right? Especially for every individual. So we think health data definitely matters, because if you think about training the AI, right? All matters, all the fill are data, right? And so bear with all this idea, we start think about why this matters, and how we should, why the combination is a wearable and the health data and the Web3, right? So we see the blockchains as a technology perfectly match with the goals of, or the purpose of own the health data, and for every individual. If you help people to put data on chain, people know, okay, that belongs to me, right? Use the NFT or SBT as a proof of it. And also you can limit access to all those who, allow only from you, they can tap into the data, not those like centralized company. We don't know where they put the data, and we don't know like who they share the data with, right? So, but also at the same time, we know, last cycle, we got Steppen, we got Sweat Economy, we got Superwalk. There's a lot of the great, walk to earn, house to earn company. But I think at that moment, they mainly focus on the gaming side, right? Not overall as a house economy here. And also when talk to longevity is also pretty new in these couple of years. So, but we know one thing that incentive is a great thing to drive people into the healthier lifestyle, right? I can, just guarantee myself, oh, I'll go to the gym for 7 days in a row, right? But probably I'll just give it up like maybe second day. My muscle feel like pretty sore, right? But with some of the incentive here, or, I just battle with James or Nick, hey guys, let's see who can, achieve like 7 days in a row, like into the gym, right? Workout. And whoever lose a couple of bucks, right? Then I think drive us, more about, we need to do this, right? We need to sleep better. We need to like go to the gym, train our body, and so after go over all this sauce, we think, oh, actually it's like a perfect match, and there's nothing like this before in this area, right? And nothing like this in this industry before. So that's how we have this idea, and then start building on the hardware and all the application around this concept. Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like you really honed in on two primary reasons. It's the fact that the actual users can own their own data, but then also we can build incentive mechanisms with crypto that actually encourage healthy behavior.
Yes, sir. Totally.
Awesome. I would love to dig into that incentive design a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned some of last cycle's kind of like health focused products like Step In, right? And this cycle we've got like Moonwalk, Fitness, and like you said, they're more gamified type of approaches to fitness and wellness. I think one of the things we saw with Step In was this huge boom in like incentive for people that then had this really steep drop off, right? Which is not unusual in crypto, but I think there's a question out there that is a challenging question of like, how real is this incentive loop, right?
Yeah.
Is this kind of just like a pump thing, or is this something that is sustainable, can be sustainable? I'm sure that's something you thought a lot about, and I would love to hear your thoughts on a sustainable crypto incentive.
Yeah, I love this question. To be honest, like I've been asked similar question for past 2 years whenever we meet new users, investors, partners, and on the answer like part of them like always the same, but part of them like we also learning, right? Try to learn more around like user behavior and how you design the mechanism and why that happened. And so recently we come to like a conclusion, like what's your purpose or goals at day one, right? So I think Steppen is a great game that they design based on like what to earn and also health conscious, right? But at the same time, don't get me wrong, I think they're perfect, but they are a game, right? They design it in a game way. So there's NFT, there's tokenomics in the game, and also there's tokenomics like two token, right? And they're doing a great job in the scale to the Web2 consumer, and they onboard a lot of new users, millions of new users, right? And they promote the idea of NFT at the same time as well. And they also sell a lot of NFT, right? After they're listed on the exchange, right? Like $100 million of the NFT. So at company level, I think they did a great job. They do have their highlight moment, and also they make the great revenue generating from their business. But on the other side, that I think fundamentally they built a gaming studio, right? So if you take a look at the Stephanie as one game, they're very, very successful because one game can generate $100 million of the revenue, and we're still like 500 mil or like I think highest point like close to 5 billion or something. I forgot the numbers, but now they still worth a few $100 million market cap, right? So you can say they're not a good company. And also at the same time, I know there's still a lot of users are playing around Steppen and using the NFT and make some money, So, but at the same time, that I feel like at day one they're not trying to build a house economy, or say not trying to amplify their value with the data they're collecting, right? And they're not trying to build more things upon the user they already have, or like more the data they already have, right? Like stats data is sometimes people think it's like a very simple data, right? There's a lot of way you can get the stats, right? You can get it from Apple Health, Google Health, Strava, a lot of other apps or wearables, right? But at the same time, that is also the user behavior, right? It's very important data, right? Singapore government give their citizens the reward based on the steps they take every day. If you can take like 10,000 steps every day, you get some points reward, and you can use the points reward to redeem some of the coupon at the government-backed convenience store, and the supermarket. So we can see this mechanism works, but what after, right? So what we see at day one is if we can actually help people to tracking and collect a lot of the data, there's actually a lot of intrinsic value, or say more value you can build upon all this data, right? Based on your sleep data, we can help you, dig deep into it and provide you analysis and also more insights about how you can make it better, right? And the economy around this, how to make it better, is actually huge, right? So back to your question, I think because their first day purpose is not, try to build a house-related economy, and also the ecosystem is more towards game side. So I think that's the fundamental things different here. So yeah.
Cool. So yeah, so that makes a lot of sense. Your incentive design is less around gamification and more around building out this health and health data ownership economy. You alluded to some of it there toward the end of like rewarding, like maybe a government or institution rewarding people for healthy behavior, like taking steps. I think we see that sometimes with like health insurance companies, right? Where they might have users have a wearable and track steps, and they'll get an actual reward. And you're basically saying, hey, we see that in these places as like proof of concept that this health data is valuable. There is actual value in the data itself. And in the case of health insurance companies, there is value in trying to modify user behavior, right? And you're saying, how can we do this at a greater scale than we have previously?
Exactly. Yeah, I think you totally got the points. Yeah.
One of the things I'm curious about is like what type of data are you able to actually collect from the rings themselves? Because like, I have a smartwatch. I actually have a Garmin smartwatch sitting here right next to me charging. And like, what sort of data can you get from it? Because like a smartwatch, it has the various sensors that typically sit on the top of your wrist or the bottom of your wrist, depending on the particular wearable. And like, you can get a whole bunch of information from that. But the watch is physically much larger than a ring. Yeah. So like, what type of information can the Cudis platform actually like collect from this ring alone? And like, what is the app then in turn able to provide to the user?
Mm-hmm. I think in terms of the development of the technology, especially at the sensor and all the microchip and also the battery technology, it's allow us to build some product smaller than before, right? like Aura play a great role and also very very important role in the ring sector. They are like they're the
Mhm.
one of the best, right? And they're one of the earliest, not the earliest, but one of the earliest to build wearable product in a ring form, right? And I think comparing to the watch, there's a lot of different position and things are tech stack around the ring, right? It's smaller and not disrupted and better on the battery life. You don't need to charge quite often because they don't have the screen, so like a very they perform at a very like a battery safe way, right? So I can share you a little bit like here, so you can see in our app we have the sports mode. You can track different 31 different activities like real time performance. You can see it and you can my sleep score sucks because yesterday was like on the fly, so you can see the sleep and the stress, heart rate and resting heart rate, and also heart rate variation and the blood oxygen saturation and also steps. So there's quite a lot of things the ring can help user to track. Very very similar to all the other wearables, but in a relatively minimal way, right? And I think it can already fulfill people's needs about what matters every day at the biomarkers level. Yeah.
How much of that data is actually stored on chain versus, kind of just in app or on servers somewhere?
So before we help user put it on chain, we do store them at the server, the IPFS, and also we are not so far for now we're not actually put all the data on chain, right? Because it's quite a lot of data. After
Yep.
I think a few updates after next few months, we can help user to collecting 1 to 2 GB like data basically like every week I think or every month. So it's actually a lot, right? So
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a lot.
if you put it like all on chain, that's crazy, right? I mean, Tony and Raj will yell at me like, "What the fuck you're doing here? Like, why you put all this on chain? You don't need to, right?" I think there's conversation before, right? We talk about what we should put on chain, right? If it's if it already good, we don't need to put on chain. You don't have to, right? So when we talk about scalability and also the the performance of the different layers or the different like layer one infrastructure. So we need to think about the real application use case, right? So far
Yeah.
now we help user to put help them to mint the house data empty, and there's like we use the I think it's the new SPL token standard, and we use the data AMT like the data pointers to get people to know, okay, in this AMT that's the data that I store at the IPFS, and they click the whoever bought the AMT, they got the link and they can access to the data for use and read, right?
It's not all stored on chain, but it is gated with an
Yeah,
on-chain NFT.
yeah, exactly.
I think that makes tons of sense because like you said, it's a shit ton of data. Doesn't make sense. Like the blockchain is not the best, or at least the Solana blockchain is not the best like storage mechanism necessarily, but it
Mhm.
is great for sort of like storing things like that, right? Like an NFT for gating access to things, etc. So is it just that the data stored and encrypted somewhere, and then you can only view it if you have that NFT?
Yeah. So I totally agree that I want to add two sentences here. Like, first, Solana is the position as the internet capital market, right? And so the NFT we help user to mint actually is a proof of an asset, right? So the house we think house data is an asset. That's why
Mm.
we put it into an NFT way, right? The form of the show as an NFT because we acknowledge every individual's health data is an asset. So it's then if you put the proof on the Solana, it makes totally sense, right? Because it has a value, right? People can pricing it. You can price yourself, or you can get some other buyers, the data demanders that they can price it. Yeah.
Got it. So you're looking at it. So it's less like what I said about gating access, although that is a component, but it sounds like you're almost looking at it more so from the perspective of this is an asset and we're going to almost like an RWA type thing, right? Like we're going to represent this asset on chain because we do think of it as an asset.
Yeah. So we do think this great potential in the future. People will definitely categorize the health data as asset, and also in the future we categorize them into the RWA. I think so far, not many people pay attention to their value of their health data, right? Because there's no one pay us before, right?
Yeah, it's a difficult market to create. But like you said, like Solana is an excellent place to create capital markets on the internet, and combined with the wearable that you're creating and the data you collect, you can create like a new market, which is cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
I like
That's what we building for. And also hope that onboard more users first. I think as long as people can build consensus around it, we all acknowledge that our data could be the asset, right? And whoever want to use it at least need to reward us. They don't need to maybe not pay us like $1 or $1,000, but they have to acknowledge that they're using our data, and they need to, in exchange of some of the value for using it. Yeah. So I think that's very, very important. Yeah.
Who are the potential buyers that Cudis is focused on, or are you more focused on creating the marketplace and less concerned about who the other side of the market is?
We definitely care about both sides, right? We care if we can create a marketplace for the health data. At the same time, so we care about those who might need the data, right? During our conversation today, we mentioned like two type of the entity or institution might need the data, right? Insurance company, governments, right? We heard a lot of governments has like a huge problem on the taking care of the elder at the healthcare, right? Because they take a Singapore as example. They figure out like after the elder get to like 70, 80s, they might need to pay 3-5x of the healthcare than they expected. So they try to think about how can they put more money before they getting to 70, 80, or maybe in the around 30, 40 age, they can start taking care of themselves, and then try to lower down the healthcare expenditure in the future, when they get older. At the same time, they're like research, like hospital, like a big farm, and also like medical research labs. They also require a different type of the data, not the data like very general, not just steps, but a specific group of people's data are what they're looking for, right? So a lot of people ask us, oh, how many users you guys have, and if you don't have like million user or 5 million users, why your data matters, and why should we use your data, and or why there's someone want to buy your data, right? I mean, if you look at the numbers, everyone can chase after Apple Health, Google Health, even Samsung Health, Strava, MyFitnessPal to buy the data, right? But do they really got a lot of offer or deals from other companies that require the use of digital health data? I don't think so. The digital health data is like 100 billions of the market, right? And so there's very specific needs around the data, right? As when we talk to the MS and Duke, one of the professor at the cardiology sectors department, he asked us, "Can you guys do the co-pilot study together with us for the heart failure patients?" So they only need to study with like 30 patients after they're doing the surgery about the heart failure, and they need to track and monitor like around like 3 to 6 months after their surgery behavior, and how they sleep, how their stress level, and how's the heart rate goes, and the sports performance of these or any other activities that matters for them. So the hard part is sometimes find these 30 people, because I ask them like how long it take you guys to prepare everything. I mean, we can be definitely customize some plan and the features for you. They said they need to take like 6 to 12 months to onboard these 30 patients. But it take a little bit far, but it's actually one of the dilemma here. People want to do better job on the medical side and also healthcare, but actually sometimes finding specific group of people is a hard thing, right? And also global wise, there's some minority diseases only have 2 to 3 cases, right? And it's make it extremely hard to find all these people. So we're thinking maybe after 10 years, one of the mission that we have internally, we never speak like publicly before, is we want to build a community and platform can try to onboard as many people as possible, and they do have specific needs for their data and for some solution, right? So when they try to put a class, right, okay, we need to do some study around heart failure or like diabetes or some minority diseases, and who have the similar problem or who want to be part of it, right? To make a global movement, seriously.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's really, really interesting. I've never considered the potential for using, especially in bulk, in mass amounts of data. If you have millions and millions of people that are having various like health wearables, that yes, you could use them for like basically post analysis from a study. It's like, you
Yeah.
participated in some medical study and we're going to monitor you for the next 12 months. And we're going to use these wearables to help facilitate that. The data gets back to the doctors, they can analyze it. But the opposite side of that, I've never thought of that before. That's really, really interesting. Is like you could use all this data to like potentially find people that could be suffering from some particular condition that's trying to be studied, and you can, because you have all this data in aggregate. That's really, really cool.
Exactly. I think there's both way, right? Once people feel like that you are providing them like useful or valuable things, features, advices, they would love to share a little bit more data together with you and trying to find better solution, right? Because when we launched the white paper a couple of weeks ago, the new one is about Cudis building the first rewarding longevity protocol, right? When we talk about longevity, I think it's very, very personalized. Like healthcare, medical solution, and longevity is something very, very personalized, right? You need to be customized to different needs. You might like the meat protein, but I might prefer the like a vegetarian style of the life. So my solution probably not going to work for you, right? So, and also I can tell you like, okay, all the food and nutrition I'm taking with my plan help me like, maybe look better or younger or make me energetic, but maybe it could be do the opposite way for you, right? So that's actually, stop a lot of the people, trying, because they're thinking, oh, these people, like Martin is like the best way, but actually it doesn't work for me. Am I allergic for that, right? But when you come back to the focus on the people's like personalized needs, then the AI, the data, can play a lot of more things, and than before, like the solution that other company try to provide. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's really cool. I want to shift gears a little bit. And so like we've been talking about the sort of the software and the medical side of this. I'm curious about the hardware side of the rings themselves, both from the perspective of doing manufacturing and then how that like process looks and like how to like build a physical product that uses crypto in some way. I think this is definitely sort of an under talked about thing within the industry is the hardware side of doing these things. There's probably, a small handful of companies that are building physical products that are being shipped around the world. So, and there's all sorts of logistics to go into that. You know, when people think Web3, they think software, but like especially on Solana's become the DePIN chain, basically. I mean, Solana is the everything chain, but
Exactly.
it's become truly the home for DePIN, and Cudis is just another example of that. So I would love to hear, like, if you could talk to like building these physical products and like what does that look like logistically, and then like the manufacturing process, if there's any of that kind of stuff that you can share. I'd be super curious.
Yeah, for sure. So when it comes to building the hardware, actually, I have a conversation with the Seeker's general manager, Emmett, and we have a talk like during the break point that we both agree that hardware is a shitty business. You know, if you don't have to, you don't have to.
I have heard Emmett say that before.
If you don't have to, you don't have to. You know. So, but I think we both agree when you start building it, you know, you just can't stop, right? When you really love building something, especially in the hardware way, there's actually a lot of things you can build around, right? We are basically the
Mm-hmm.
one who have the idea and invent the idea that combine the blockchain, crypto, and together with wearable technology and the health data, like you know, the data hub and also all the um, things here. And but you know, a lot of manufacturer owner they can't understand, right? And also, you know, we design ourselves, but we need to do the R&D together with this like a manufacturer because at the day
Mm-hmm.
one, we don't have a lot of venture backers. I use my own money to self-fund this company and bootstrap before we raise the money, right? So we have to take every step very seriously and also careful, right? If I lose those money, the company die, you know. So we try to see uh, at a certain amount of time what we can do and we cannot do, right? So try to focus on those what we can do and forget about those you know, we can, right? And maybe do it later. When we get a little bit larger, a little bit bigger, with a little bit more users, we try to build something better, bigger, and you know, faster, and all this. So I would say the we have two generation product in like 1 year, right? That's not very normal things, but that's definitely follow our principle here. If we do have the money and the ability, we'll try to build something a lot better as much as possible. But also, it come back to the some of the question that about the logistically that there's a different stage of building the hardware. First, you have the concept, and then you design and build the first demo, and then you test, manufacture, try to see 1,000 to 2,000 will it work, or like a craftsman like add some technique or craftsmanship, it won't work, right? So I'll tell you guys one thing I never shared with anyone before. So the first generation of the Cudis ring, actually the how to say that, the rate of quality standard that we have is very high, but the rate is pretty low. You know, like 4 out of 10, they're not working. The reason why is not the battery wise or all the other is a structure. So the ceramic around the ring we designed as rotatable, right? It become one of the signature when we launched the first generation of the ring, and people love to play around it, right? But it actually killing us because it's so hard to manufacture, and we are the only one designed doing that. And all our manufacturer supply chain, they got tortured by us, because we told them we have to have it. We can't, you know, only because like we need to spending more money to manufacture it, and we give up on that, right? We didn't do that, and so yeah, so but not many people knows about it, right? People just feel like, oh, these are really fun features, but actually it's cost us a lot more, than we plan. So when you get to the test manufacture and then the the official manufacturer stage, then it still have some gaps, right? That's actually cost a lot of team, a lot of money and time to work on. And then also one little difference on a parts can kill a lot of things, or say it can kill everything. So I think that's we all agree like hardware is kind of like shitty business, like you have to be really detail driven and you can be wrong a lot of times.
Yeah.
You need to be
Yeah,
very careful.
once you manufacture the thing, like you can't unmanufacture it. You either have to maybe fix it, or you just have to move on to the next iteration and solve those problems. Yeah, hardware's tough.
You're gonna pay for it anyway, right? You like yeah.
I mean, speaking of mobile, like I used the first generation of Solana mobile phone, and
Wow.
yep, I look forward to the new one.
Same here.
Was that a dig?
Yeah, I saw
A little
I saw
dig
them
on
like I saw them showcasing the Breakpoint also like a couple of days ago in the Crossrail. I think people pretty like
Oh
it.
yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah. I still have yet to see the new one in person. Like I've seen pictures of it, which like doesn't do anything. It looks nice. It looks like a phone. But yeah, I'm excited for the new one sometime
We will
this
see.
year, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, very excited to try to get on it. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I want to ask. I mean, this is kind of pivoting back to software. Sorry, Nick.
That's okay.
Not that much
I'll
software.
forgive you.
This is more general question. I am curious, like, why did you all decide to build on Solana versus the other chains that are available, right? I obviously have my own preconceived notions about Solana and why it's great, but I'd love to hear from your perspective why you think Solana was the right fit for you and your company.
Back to 2023. Oh, back to the first day I was in the space, and for past couple of years, I know Bitcoin pretty well. I know Ethereum pretty well, and Tron, like Phantom now called Sonic, and then Solana. And I know Solana that I've been going through all these time and be with all this community like over the past years. I feel like three things do convince us, when we make the strategic decision, right? We call like a very strategic decision when you make something, choose which chain to build on, right? So we look at the price, product, and the founders, So when we talk about the price, actually is the community behind it, right? When we choose to build on Solana, the price actually is still at the low range, but community is still here. And I think builder is not leaving, fund is not leaving, community is not leaving. People have conviction here. And a lot of my friends have conviction here. And same to myself. And so I feel like, okay, we do got a strong community, And when we look at the product, even the price is low, still a lot of founder building great product and try to onboard more new users and also try to find the driver and also the real use case, not something, fugazi or say, weird or something, but something really, drive the Solana grow, right? Like Jupiter, right? Like Helios and Magic Eden, a lot of, great project at the moment, like building great things, right? And then founders, all the founder I met in Solana, very, very diligent, and they're everywhere. And, they are the events, no matter how much the company worth, they're always there, right? They talk to the user, talk to the, new founders, talk to the builders, right? I think that's very important. Compared to some other ecosystem, they're doing something else. They're busy doing something else. They're not busy building. They're not busy being the mentor. They're not busy learning people's users' needs, right? So combining all these, like these three main factors, the community, the founder, and the products, I think Solana at the moment we feel like it's a great place for the consumer product and applications, right? At that moment, dipping is not a huge thing yet, but we already see Helium and some other project start building more things on Solana. So we feel like, okay, that's definitely the place we should be there, and we can be there for a very long time. Yeah.
No, that makes
Love it.
a lot of sense. I actually really appreciated that delineation between the factors that you guys thought about. I don't know if every founder thinks through it quite that logically and rationally.
Wish they would.
So I think that's fantastic. And really appreciated that answer. Does Cudis have plans for a widespread token launch of any kind, or is it mostly focused on the NFTs that you get personally for participating and contributing your data?
Yeah, I feel like I love token. I love crypto. So at day one we build Cudis, I know that we will definitely launch a token. That's for sure. And I think crypto and token is a great way to drive the project growth. If you do have the product, and the token can help you to drive it, right? Can drive your project and take you to the next step and help you to raise more money and creating more hypes and drive a lot of traffic and attention. And I would say token is the best way to market a brand or a project, right? But also, if you don't have the product and if you don't have something for real for people to use, token can kill you as well, right? So we're definitely looking for launch our token this year. Hopefully, we'll be in Q2. So next few months, pretty soon. But at the same time, that we take it very serious. We think token is actually also a very, very important product for a project that you need to really design around it. You can't be just launch a token. You need to think thoroughly about like why we have this token, right? And why people need the Cudis token, and how this can drive the growth of the business, and why this makes sense, right? I think there's, back to 2017, 18, there's only like 3,000, 5,000 tokens in the market. But now, thanks for Pump the Fund and all this, we got like 30 million token, and we have like, I think, a couple of thousand token like every day, right? So every single day. Yeah. So I think we need to really, really focus design on the product, the token as a product, like telling people why they need it and how this could be valuable and useful. Yeah.
That's awesome. I look forward to hearing more about that. I appreciate the thought that goes into it, and the fact that you want to have a token that's actually well thought out, has value for people, that you recognize it as an important product in addition to the core product of your company is, I think, a tremendous thing.
Yes, sir.
Yep, agree.
I really only have one last question. I would love to hear your grand, ambitious vision, right? For however long it takes, right? Like maybe that's 5 years from now, maybe it's 10 years from now. Every industry, every product takes a different amount of time. So what is sort of your biggest, grandest vision for Cudis when you're, dreaming at night?
Okay. I mean, according to our white paper, I probably need to take I'm 32 this year, so 33 this year. So probably I need to take like 107 years to prove that people might live to 140, house span. That's possible things, right? but
Well, at least you'll be tracking all the data along the way.
yes, sir. So I think as long as we can do our own jobs, there's 100 more years for us to build. But at the same time, I feel like or ambitious or visions here, or like everything I'm thinking every night is like, can we really bring the personalized longevity solution or the service program products to every individual, right? Because there's billions of people on Earth, right? I can work for billions of people. So far for now, I can. But maybe after decades, 30, 50 years, like AI become extremely, fast, or say like very capable about like handling, you know, trillions of data, and I think that's possible things to come, right? So design and provide a solution, like personalized longevity solution for everyone. I think that's something very, very interesting, and it could be something we build for decades. So, because it's already a huge thing. And I'm so far, I'm not sure if it's the right thing to do, because if you do like extending all the people's like health spans or lifespans, it also could cause some chaos for the earth, right? We have very limited like resource. But I think our fundamental goal here is not getting everybody to live until 140 or 200. It's getting people to live happier, healthier, and better quality of their life when they have the time, right? So I still want to, go out with friends when I was 80, 90, or 100, right? I don't want to lie on the bed and waiting for my day come, right? I want to have some fun. Otherwise, why I'm live until like 110 or like 120, right? Doesn't make any sense. I don't want to, just stay at home and lie on the bed for like 20 years because only I want to stay alive, right? I think that doesn't make any sense. So for more things here, or say for more value we want to create for people, is to get people to really build up their strengths, cognition, stamina, and can allow every one of us to enjoy our life for a longer period. Yeah.
Awesome. I think that's a great vision.
Beautiful.
Great
I love
vision. I'm here for it. I hope.
Okay.
I hope.
Yes, sir. Happy to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I hope that I get to participate in that and have that as well. So, love what you guys are doing. Thank you so much for chatting with us. And
Yeah, thank you.
yeah, I would love to have a follow up in a year. Is after seeing another year of how the product has gone. And
Yes, sir.
yeah, thanks for joining.
100%. Yeah, and also I'd love to share more product sauce in the future together with you guys, because we're going to curate a lot of the new longevity product services program. It would be pretty fun of the new things, some like a rejuvenation pod and the methylation test and all these, and also the new supplements. We would love to get, most of the more people to try it out, and also we'd love to get you guys on board as well. Yeah.
Nice. I would love to try out that stuff. That sounds great.
Yes, sir.
Well, thanks, Arm. Thanks a ton. And to the listeners, we'll see you all next time.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Solfate Podcast. I hope you liked it. I know we did. We always have a blast recording with our amazing guests. If you've got a moment, please leave us a review in your podcast app or subscribe on YouTube. And I guess it's time to get some more coffee and get back to work.